The House is called to order. The Secretary will read the third order of the day.
Presentation on the motion, enhance service delivery and good governance.
Honorable members, I now call upon Honorable Sankwasa James Sankwasa, Minister of Urban and Rural Development, to address the House.
Honorable and esteemed members of this respected House, I'm sure we can afford to look at each other, isn't it? Can afford to look at me. Because I know I'm handsome. My mother told me I'm handsome, so even if you think I'm ugly with my mother, I'm the best. Honorable Speaker and esteemed members, it is a great pleasure to address you this afternoon on this chosen subject, enhanced service delivery and good governance. With hindsight, I'm tempted in addressing this topic to first interrogate a few questions, which I think will also be pertinent to you, which relates to the two concepts that you require me to address. What is service delivery? What is it? Everybody needs it, but everybody complains about it. What is it? Is there a difference between public service delivery and civil service delivery? Are they separate? Are they the same? What then is public service delivery? What is civil service delivery? What is it and what constitutes good governance? We are elected here as we sit, elected to come and govern, elected to come and lead. What is it that is referred to as governance? Let alone good governance. A renowned author and academician, Spiker, in 2000, argued that the best way to understand any term or concept is to know the way it is used and practiced in a given country. So therefore, how are we using, how do we practice governance and service delivery in Namibia? Public service from a holistic view are those services funded by the money accrued through a taxation from the general public and for the benefit of the public. That's what constitutes public service. These are organized services responsible for managing and controlling the resources of the state on behalf of the general public, who are actually the owners of the resources. As we sit here, you and me have a duty to look after the resources that are not ours. Because the resources that we are elected to come and govern are resources from the taxpayer, who are the owner of the resources, and who are even the appointing authority that brought us here. These services are run and controlled by either the elected of which you are, and the appointed, of which I am. Another author, Boyega 2004, in his book titled The First Class Public Servant, The Myth, Characteristic, Do's and Don'ts, describes public service as service in any government capacity. In any government capacity, whether it's a president, is a minister, is a prime minister, is a member of the National Council member, or is an ED, in any capacity, whether elected or appointed in the legislature, in the executive, in the judiciary, in ministries, in boards or statutory corporations, which we call parastatals. These ministerial corporations and parastatals that government calls are regarded as the public sector. When we are here, we are not in the private sector. We are in the public sector. We were elected by the public. Hence, those that fall under us as the legislative leaders are referred to as public servants. Therefore, even us, we become public servants. But now there is a challenge. What happens if the servant starts controlling the master? What happens? Because many a time we get elected as we are. Once we become ministers, we become speakers, we become members of whatever capacity, we start becoming bosses over the general public. Who are the appointing authority? We forget that we are servants. We are the servants of those who elected us and who brought us up here. Whom, because of their power and authority to appoint us, in November, now, just 2 months from now, or 1 month in between, we're going to go back to the same authority to say, can we be appointed? If they say no, you're not coming back, is it? Because the authority to bring you here or take you out here is them, it's not you and me. And this is when our service delivery becomes a problem. A servant is required to come and deliver service to the master. Now, the servant refuses to deliver service to the master. What should the master do? Remove the servant. So what we have here is what some industrialist relations experts will say, we are in a very high risk, highly paid jobs. Very high status, honorable. We are all honorable. But until such time that we do honorable things, we can easily become horrible. Because an honorable person must do honorable things. When ministers, when leaders in whatever capacity start doing corruption, what should the master do? That's the challenge. When we start acting differently, there is a question to say, women and their partners. When I looked at the scenario, it took me back to the Bible. Adam alone in the Garden of Eden. But Adam became useless to himself until God says, this guy requires attention. Then God created the woman for him. Then the woman took over the reign of the garden, isn't it? It's the one who had to show Adam, say, this is what you eat. Hence, from that time, we men rely on women to be fed. Hence, from that time, the strong component of the economic hub of the very house is the woman, not the man. And hence, there is a difference between the leadership of a woman and the leadership of a man. A man looks at issues from a status point of view. A woman looks at the same issue from a mother's perspective. Every time a woman remains a mother, who is ready to support, ready to feed, and ready to succumb, to sacrifice. Now, given that scenario, when things were falling in the Garden of Eden, God asked Adam, what have you done? The answer was simple. Because of this woman you gave me. Now, Adam was judging God. When you brought this woman, I thought you were bringing me a friend, but you brought me somebody who has created my downfall. But he was not forgiven. Because the responsibility for security still rested with him. The responsibility to engage in a discussion still rested with him. So what am I trying to say here this afternoon? I'm trying to say, whether you're a woman, whether you're a man, you have equal responsibility towards a common goal. All of us. Whether a man, a woman, you have equal responsibility towards the achievement of development of the house, of the country, of the organization. In the relationship existing between public and civil servants, public service is therefore broader in scope and encompasses the service of civil service. You get what I'm saying? The public service is larger than the civil service. Why? Because the public service encompasses all the citizens of this country. Out of this public service comes the smaller component of civil servants, civil service. Therefore, the major task of ensuring that Namibia is stable, Namibia is developed, rests with the public service, not the civil service. Rests with us, the elected. Because those who are directors, those who are clerks, they are subjected to an interview by 5 people, maximum. 5 panelists, they interview, they find this one is suitable, isn't it? But how many people interview us for a job? Thousands, not 5. That's why when they count, they realize that out of 10,000 people that were interviewing you, 8,000 have given you the right mark. Only 2,000 said no. Then you become the winner. I want to repeat. Public service is broader than the civil service. And the public service carries more of the weight and the criticism than the civil service. Because civil servants, directors, whoever, have never gone out there to promise people development. It's us, the elected, who say, if you elect me, whichever political party you represent here, you promise the same thing. If you elect me, I'll bring development. Not a single party in this country ever said, if you elect us, no development will come. Not one. All of us promise development. But the directors we have, the clerks we have, never promised anybody development in the country. So the broader responsibility, therefore, rests with you and me to lead this country, to protect this country. In partnership, as I said, in the partnership of Adam and Eve, this is how we need to operate. Adam couldn't get it right alone. Eve couldn't get it right alone. They needed each other. So in Namibia, we need each other. Seriously, but seriously. Honorable Speaker, we need, therefore, to equally appreciate the existence of modern government across the globe, which has demarcated the operation of government in three main organs, irrespective of a government system in operation. The legislature. Why is the legislature the first? Because this is what is appointed by the citizens. Citizens don't elect a minister. They don't elect a speaker. They elect a legislature to come and lead the country, come and make laws that must ensure that the country develops. It's out of that legislature that the executive is appointed to formulate policies and implement what has been decided by the public service, by the legislature, as appointed by the citizens. So we need to understand that. The third is the judiciary. The judiciary is in between to make sure that when the laws are made by the legislature, being implemented by the executive and the civil service, they are implemented accordingly. That's the job of the judiciary. Wherein laws are violated, whether you are a part of the legislature, you are part even of the judiciary, part of the executive, you have to face the same consequences. Because the judiciary reports to who? The judiciary reports to who? Nobody else but the independent. The current reality of these levels of governance are occupied by both men and women, currently in Namibia. The political leadership, however, changed. When women were confined to the kitchen, women were confined to the back door, women have taken over the lead. What am I talking about here? Women in leadership are better than men in leadership. Let's take the statistics of what is being called passion killing right now in Namibia. How many men have died from women versus how many women have died from men? If we go rural, in the rural areas, who are keeping the homes in the rural areas? Is it men? Is it women? women carries the highest responsibility than men. So such type of creation requires more respect than men. A woman can face rejection. A man will tell her, I don't love you anymore. She will cry and go. But when a woman says, I don't love you anymore, no, she must die. Because a man is so weak that we cannot carry certain things. I'm trying to emphasize the point here that as men and women, we need each other. From being entirely excluded from public life to occupying some of the highest offices in the world, women's political participation has been a long and arduous journey, marked by perseverance, struggle, and triumph. The latter half of the 20th century, for example, and the early 21st century have witnessed an increase in women's political participation worldwide. Even our traditional structures in rural areas, women have made inroads. They are now part of the traditional councillors in traditional authorities. Women leaders have emerged in both developing and developing nations, embodying a new era of female political empowerment. These leaders have not only brought a different perspective to government, but also inspired millions of women to engage in politics. Just 2 years ago, we were hearing a concept, the future is female. Why was that concept coined? The future is female. It was intended to propagate and propel women into leadership positions. Right now we have a female president, the first time of its kind in Namibia. But let's compare our Namibian women with the European women. So that's very important. Margaret Thatcher, the Prime Minister of Britain, was a Prime Minister for 11 years. How many cabinet ministers did she appoint? Women. How many women did she appoint in her cabinet? In 11 years. How many? Not even one. Not one woman served under Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. She only had men. In her cabinet, she was the only woman to be sure that she's in charge. How many women are in the current cabinet in Namibia? Many. That shows that, therefore, Africa, Black Africa, have much to show the world than Europe. We have much to tell the world than the world has been telling us before. We need to appreciate ourselves as women, for that matter, as rural women. Majority of you here are not coming from Windhoek, you come from rural constituencies. So therefore, we as black people, we as black women are more stronger than our counterparts in the Western world. But, as I have observed, they make us feel inferior, and we accept it. There was a study conducted in 2013 in Turkey, which found that women in rural areas had more traditional gender roles and less access to education and economic opportunities, but survived far better than urban-based women. However, again, the study also found that women in rural areas had stronger family ties and support networks, which positively impacted their quality of life. When you are part of the rural area, you should appreciate that God is giving you the best than being in an urban area. When you want to build a house, you want accommodation in the rural area, you just go naturally. You cut the poles, you cut grass, you have a house. You don't buy it from anybody. But in the urban area, you need to go and look for money. Go to the bank and become a permanent client. Get a house. So therefore, rural women, rural men have got better opportunities for economic stability and development. As much as male partners still have hangovers tempting to resist change, women should appreciate that Rome was not built in a day. The journey is long, but the journey has started. Let's take the story of the women in the US politics, which is as old as its country. Long before earning the right to vote, for the first time, women voted in the USA was in 1920. They were never voting. So we should not think women discrimination was only in Africa. It was never in Africa. In the USA, women only started voting in 1920. In 1872, Victoria Woodhull made history as the first woman to run for president, but she never made it. And in 1916, Janet Franklin broke barriers as the first female member of Congress, but not a president. But these women helped pave the way to prove a point that women can equally lead. We, as we toil in our leadership, in our governance, we should appreciate and keep asking ourselves, what do the Namibian people want from us? What did they elect us to come and do? What did they elect us to do for them versus what we are doing for ourselves? If we don't interrogate those questions, we shall miss the point. And most of the time we miss the point. Because once we are elected, we never even go back to the same people and say thank you for appointing me. When we go out like now in November for elections, we don't make appointments with them, do we? We don't. We just call them, I'm coming to address a meeting. But once we have come through the process, for them to see us, they must make appointments. And most of the time it's difficult to secure an appointment. We must know that we play a representative role. Our masters are out there who have sent us here to come and perform duties for them. How are we using our little available resources in this country? Are we using it to the best of our ability for the benefit of the citizens? In English they say, please deliver the honey, lick your fingers. But don't let the citizens to lick their fingers and you take the honey. It's not the right way to lead. If for one way or another, there is honey that spills on your finger, either wash it or lick it, but don't take the honey. The honey belongs to the citizens. Having said so, we move from being a representative to governance. What is governance? You move from being a leader to govern. Governance, therefore, entails guiding the people in the right direction. and uniting them to achieve political goals. Ensuring that a country's resources are used properly for its citizens, which leads to sustainable development. But this is where the challenge is, use of resources. How do we protect the resources of the country? As elected leaders, as appointed leaders. The misuse of resources is very rampant in the country. The misuse of vehicles, even misuse of S&T, subsistence travel allowance, is rampant in the Namibian public service. Bambos, not whoever, but Namibians. And the international community listened, supported our cause. Until 21 March 1990, we became Namibians. However, after independence, after particularly 1992, we went back to our tribal cocoons. A Vambo remains a Vambo, a Damara remains a Damara, a Nama remains a Nama. That's what is here right now, eating us out of this country. And until we take it boldly and face it, we shall forever be going down the drain. Because even most of the political parties, if you look at them today in this country, they are born out of all those tribal sentiments and tribal considerations. We are failing to ask ourselves, the United States of America, before even my grandfather was born, my great-grandfather was born, had only two political parties. To this day, they still have only two political parties. Britain have all these centuries had political parties, only two. Wish us 35 years of independence, we have nearly 35 political parties again. To do what? To deal with what? We are literally surrendering that we have failed ourselves. We have failed. The moment you start hearing about tribal affiliation, you should know and appreciate that that is the beginning and the end of failure. To lead, failure to govern. Because no matter how much of a champion you can be on your tribe, that will never make you an economic hub. So we need each other in Namibia. We need each other in terms of gender. We need each other in terms of age, in terms of language, in terms of tribal affiliation. Therefore, in essence, good governance is about guiding people towards achieving political goals. Our duty as elected is to make sure that we unite the people to achieve our one Namibia, one nation. Not one Namibia, many nations. I want, as I conclude, to leave you with this question. Who then between men and women are seen to be good on good governance in this country? We know each other. We see each other. Who do you think in Namibia could prove to be a better leader, better governance between us men and the women? I leave this question with you. Because the upliftment of Namibia, the downward trend of Namibia, all rests in our eyes and ears and hands. I thank you all.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable members, it is now time for questions or to make comments on the presentation delivered by the Honorable Minister. First round, we take 5. Questions? Honorable Titus.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Minister, Honorable Members, I have just one question. My name is Indira Titus from Karas region, National constituency. Minister talks about higher rate of unemployment. In our rural area, the school belongs to the government, but the hostel is private for almost 10 years. And this makes very difficult for the kids to go to school because they suffered of hunger. I think if the government takes over the hostel, then the employment can make changes and it can make change in the rural area. Because the hostel will be the laundry, it will be the kitchen staff, the laundry staff, and then the hostel, the living room. So it can maybe change employment right now. The second one is the water issue. In our rural area, water issue might not be that much, but the case is we only have 2 teams who are doing the windmills, making it working in process. So, if there is if they can employ many staff, it's a lack of shortage of staff. So if there are many staff, then we can the water issue might be positive. That's the problem. We cannot make gardens in our rural areas because the government says if there is a water scarcity, first the human beings, the animals, and if enough water, gardens. The problem is we have caretakers but the caretakers can just work under. They cannot go up. The work up down on the windmill is just for the government workers because of social security. So we are sitting with caretakers with experience who can do also those, but they can't because the government refuses. They don't have social security. If something happens, they can't pay for them. It's only for the government workers. If there's something wrong, maybe they fall down, maybe someone died, then they are fully covered by the government. So if water affairs employs many workers, then in our rural area, water scarcity will be settled. So I submit. Thank you.
I also want to know the 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 quantity of the road bridge to be constructed, and we recommend even a tar road, not a gravel one. My question number 3 is on the clinic. There's always been talking about a clinic to be built at Uvudia. When will be the work start and what time? And what is the delay? So that was my question. I so submit. Thank you.
Honorable Chairperson, honorable members. I'm Alfie Stopner from Maringal Rural Wakanas constituency, a settlement area. Honorable Chairperson, I rise to ask whether I don't know whether I am asking or making a contribution, but I just want to know the following. Honorable Minister, how far is the implementation of the constituency development fund? Which people in rural areas are suffering because there is no budget at the constituency level, and if only the constituency development fund is fully implemented, we from rural areas can benefit. Honorable Chairperson, honorable members, many of us in this Equus House has never ever maybe heard about Wakanas, a settlement of a neglected, isolated. It is a neglected, isolated place somewhere there. within Kagran, Marintal, that area. Now, the problem with our town, settlement area is because of this place being a settlement area for this 55 years. We are experiencing a lot of problems there because the place we don't have a budget, so we are only the Marintal Regional Council. Our affairs are run by that. So as long as we stay as a settlement, I don't see any development happening very soon there. Therefore, maybe there are about 3,000 to 5,000 people living there. 80% of those people are jobless. No, there's no job. Only the pensioners are getting that pension. And they are now maintaining and supporting the young people, and this should be other way around. So people tend to, because they are just there, they start just using drugs, alcohol, and the crime rate goes up. So at the moment, I don't know how long this are going to be that way. Because as long as we stay as a settlement area, I don't see any development happening there. Because there is the traditional authority, and there is the settlement office. Now, electricity and water are not for free. We have to pay for that. This is a service. Now, where do we get that money to pay for that services? There was, for the development purposes, there was a talk about interlocks being put in there, but I don't know. As I said, because we don't have a budget, because of being a settlement, only Marintal or the regional council from Marintal, they have to decide so that they can release that money more before that interlocks. So as long as our settlement has no budgets, I don't see anything happening there. So this is a serious issue. Because as long as I don't know what is the criteria they use for being a settlement, but because there is no banking system, there are no post office, there's nothing happening there for this 55 years. No anything. Only maybe the teachers coming there for work. Teachers maybe, and there's a clinic. So there's a police station. So thereafter, nobody's working. So I submit. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Honorable Topna. Just a few announcements. Honorables, let's make use of the time. I don't want to cut you from what you want to say, but please, if it is a comment, let's be brief. And if it is a question, let's be straight to the question to save time and to allow also our Honorable Minister to go, because I know he has some other responsibilities to attend. Thank you. Now is Honorable David.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson, honorable members. I am Saima David from Ngodi constituency, Oshkoto region. I raise to ask questions on the motion enhanced service delivery and good governance. My first question is, you have highlighted infrastructures improvements. Can you provide specific timelines for upgrading roads and water supply in Ngodi? The second one, what percentage of national development funds are directly allocated to constituencies like Ngodi, and how communities track their use? And then the last one, how often will the government publish progress reports on rural services delivery and this be shared in local languages for accessibility? So I submit. Thank you.
Now is Honorable Clifford.
Honorable Chairperson and honorable members of the Parliament. I, Evelyn Clifford from the Karas region, speak about our community in the rural area in Karas region. We is a small village of Water in Karasburg district. We search with a problem of water. It's only one water point that we have in our area. We stay with the old people because it's too far from him to fetch the water. My second point, for past 10 years ago, our street lights are off. There are no light and we are struggling with light. It is not dark. The last point, the last five years ago, there is a EC center school is built. There is no fencing and it is unsafe for us who are living in the district of Karasburg. I submit. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, the floor is yours to respond to petitions.
Comrade Speaker, thank you very much for the question. Let me start with the high unemployment and the government school that has got a private hostel. The whole of Namibia is battling with unemployment, although in different degrees in different areas. But when it comes to general employment, let me be general. Even if we opened up that hostel to be a government hostel, and we need to employ people, the question is, who do we employ there? I want to scratch a lot of your minds this afternoon. Who do we employ there? In my submission, I say we have become more tribally oriented than being Namibian oriented. I was a chief regional officer for HADAP myself. I was employed by government. On my arrival, the first question was, what do you want here? You're not a Nama. So if we are talking about employment here, who do we employ there? Do we employ only tribally allocated people? Do we employ Namibians? Let's be frank with each other here as a country. It's actually an anomaly that you have a government school with a private hostel. It's not correct. That's a fact. But as much as we wanted to create employment, that fundamental question remains: who is to be employed? Just last Monday, this week, I had an audience from Beseba Village Council, and it's an open secret that you saw this on TV, wherein an Oshuambo speaking person, not employed as a manager, but simply as a handyman, to come and do smaller maintenance of equipment in the council. There was a demonstration. What does the Vambo want here? This is the employment we want in the country. So therefore, before we can go and talk about unemployment, we have to critically ask, who do we want to employ anywhere else in the country? As leaders elected, who do we want to employ? Are we going a quota system that we only employ the tribe or the language group that is found in that area, nobody else? Or are we going to employ Namibians? Yesterday, for the last 2 days, there were altercations in Khobabis. In Khobabis, I had to dispatch a team there. We had to call in the police on a simple thing of a plot. Tswanas versus non-Tswanas. Vambos and previous, what do they want in Khobabis? This is the type of Namibia we're having right now. As elected leaders, is this how best we can build Namibia? My answer is definitely not. Unless we want to go tribal states like they have in Europe, then divide Namibia into 11, 12 countries. But it can never remain one country. Because Europe has got tribal states. Africa have national states. When you talk about England, it's for the English. When you talk about German, it's for the German. When you talk about Portuguese, it's for the Portugal is for Portuguese. That's how their states are. Our state is different. Our state is composed of various language groups, various tribes. And until we learn that we are one, we shall be dealing with self-inflicted wounds in this unity. Water issue in rural areas and how to create employment through water supply. I'm one of the citizens, not as a minister, who will accept that one, water is a basic necessity. Water is actually life. You can go for a week, you can go for a month naked, you'll never die, as long as there is water and food. But you can be dressed in the most expensive suit. Without water, without food, 2 days you are dead in that suit. So water is a basic necessity. Where we have made a mistake as a government, we must accept. Water was never supposed to be privatized to create NAM water. It was the first mistake. I'm talking personally as a citizen, not as a minister. Water should have remained in the hands of public service directly without putting it in the private sector. We could manage it properly. Across here, our neighbor in Botswana, the most cheapest public commodity is water and electricity. Close to the border with Namibia, the most expensive is water and electricity. It's the opposite. So I fully agree with you. We need to revisit the issue of water, both urban and rural. And this is where you have seen me in the media, we're saying let's do away with Ready Force. Because Ready Force does not negotiate with their account, they close the water. The question is, how do you survive without water? It's a basic commodity, a fundamental right. The right you have to the air, the right you have to the water. Caretakers. When we have caretakers, they are employed to take care of the buildings, take care of the institutions, take care of the services. Who are the first caretakers? We should be the first caretakers. We, sitting here, the first caretakers is us. When you have a situation where you are having an institution, but they were temporal caretakers, when employment opportunities come, there is nothing wrong in you employing, giving those people the first opportunity to be employed because they were already there. District roads in Omthia and Ompunja, district roads, they must be tarred. When will they be constructed? When will they get bitumen standard roads? My answer is one. When we have little financial resources, let's learn to share. Not to selfishly use it. Namibia is over 835 or 856 square kilometers size. Some regions, some constituencies have roads constructed out of gravel. Some have even got tarred roads, while some regions and constituencies don't even have a gravel road. It's a fact. I was in the Ministry of Works. I drove to Ndhovu in 2016. Wherein an ambulance was called, and because there was no road, it's just a forest, it was in the evening. The ambulance picked up a patient, the patient died in the ambulance because the ambulance driver got lost in the forest. There is no road. So my approach would be, before we can go and say, I don't like the gravel road now, I want a third road. Do others even have that gravel road or not? How do we share the cake in the country? Let's learn to share. I drove from Opuo down to Sesfontaine. And as the clouds were forming up in the sky, we were told, say, please drive back because you will never arrive in Opuo. You have to drive now before it starts raining. That's the condition of the path. So yes, I accept roads must be constructed, but let's prioritize where there is a need, not a want. When one does not have a car, he needs a vehicle for transport. But once you bought a bakkie, you have already addressed that need. The moment you go and say, I want a Mercedes-Benz, is a want, is no more need. So as Namibians, let's learn to share. That's on roads, although I'm not in the road sector. But from rural development point of view, you can never have rural development if you don't have roads, you don't have water, you don't have electricity, you don't have clinics and schools. There is no rural development at all. Because even as of yesterday, my argument was, when we don't provide the electricity to rural schools, rural centers, rural clinics, and the villages, But the child in that village who is not exposed to electricity, who cannot have a computer or a cell phone to Google and research the subjects, in November is going to write the same examination like the child in Windhoek or in urban centers. Writing the same examination. But the other one is exposed to the library, the other one is exposed to research, computers and whatever, the other one is none. Cannot even study at night. This is the disparity we have in the country. So yes, I agree, we need urgent transformation in the rural areas. At the moment, even our budgets are a pyramid that is upside down. We have more money as government that we put in urban areas than rural areas. And the justification is that urban areas are more populated than rural areas, which is not correct. The reason we have high urbanization is because people come to urban centers because of urban services that are better than the rural areas. If we start addressing the rural areas, we shall be arresting the situation of urbanization. Constituency Development Fund. How far is it? Constituency Development Fund was tabled and withdrawn in 2023 and 2024, before my appointment. Why? Because there were and there are still challenges. I discussed this issue with the chairperson, Honorable Moha, in his office. And if I have to use my experience that I saw as a chief regional officer, those from HADAP will agree that when I came to HADAP, there was already, HADAP had rural development funds. Each constituency was given 300,000 every year in HADAP. But what was happening? Those days we were still writing our checks, using checkbooks. The checkbooks were in the pocket of the councillor wherever he went. This is a fact I'm talking about. The checkbook was never left at the constituency office, was never left with the administrator. It was in the pocket of the councillor in HADAP. So this was the same situation in commerce. That the checkbooks of commerce were at the governor's house. Was this beneficial to the constituency? No. It was never beneficial. Because honorable councillors used to write out, anytime they would write out a check, no report, no accountability for what this check has been used for. They would come in the middle of the year and say, no, the funds are finished, add more funds. This happened as I was a CRO myself, personally, in these two constituencies, two regions. Commerce, same. HADAP, the same. Then it followed the Zambezi, Caprivi region at that time. So let's be factual here. When we need this money in the constituencies, what is the management mechanism that you have to manage it? For the benefit of the people. Not for your individual benefit as an honorable councillor, benefit of the people. Because we had that fund before. It was used for birthday cakes for the children, graduation, entertaining mothers-in-law or parents-in-law, government funds. And I'm sitting here as a minister of urban with that experience of the rural area. How do you convince me that this money is going to be put to better use than it was done before? I shared my views with the chairperson. I said, if the councillors can convince me, as Sankwasa, that there is control mechanisms in place, that there is accountability in place, I will take that bill to Parliament tomorrow. So the ball is in your court as the councillors, not in my office. In your court. Let us learn to be transparent. to be fair. As we sit here as members of the National Council, we come from various regions. Every region is represented here. When last was your regional council audited? Before we even go to the constituency, when last was your regional? Did you even ask that? No. If your regional council is not audited, what about the constituency? But you are sitting here as members of parliament. You have never taken this as serious. Why should the government be throwing money there without knowing where the money is going? And nobody is saying, no, this is how we spend the money. Right now, Namibia's borrowing capacity or percentage is 60% of the GDP. We are borrowing. But we are not accounting for this money. And in this way, when you see me going to local authorities, people are saying, maybe I'm rough. I'm simply asking, where's the money we gave you? Nobody answers that question. Both local authorities and regional councils. So when we talk about the Constituent Development Fund, I want to say, convince me that you have changed. That you can account for regional council budget through the Auditor General's reports, that the money is being properly used there. Because some regional councils, instead of the project being properly managed, you've seen, hence, Erongo has a councillor arrested, isn't it? A councillor is arrested in Erongo. A councillor was arrested in Zambezi, a regional councillor. Your fellow colleagues. For what? For misuse of money. So, let us learn to be responsible as citizens of the country, because the bad apples are damaging the good apples. Now, even the good ones are being lumped together with the bad ones. So that is my response on the development fund. I'm prepared to debate it, but be prepared to convince me on facts. There is one on settlement areas, no development. Yes. Settlement areas are not a responsibility of the Ministry of Urban. The primary responsibility of development in a settlement area lies with the particular regional council. If you read your regional council act properly on the functions and duties of a regional council, you'll find that is to establish a settlement, is to proclaim a settlement. It's not the ministry that proclaims the settlement. It's not the national level ministry that government that proclaims a settlement. It's a particular regional council that must declare a settlement, that must make sure that it provides services there, water, electricity, sanitation, and when it has reached a certain level, the same regional council will recommend to the ministry, say, can we make this a village council? That's the procedure. Last May, I recognized and approved the establishment of a settlement to a village council, Anjamba, in Omusati. It was developed by the Omusati Regional Council. So if you are sitting as a regional councillor with a settlement that's not moving, go back to your regional council, the chief regional officer. Because it's your responsibility. It's time we should stop pointing fingers and think when everything is going wrong is because of the national level ministry. The good part of this hand is that when one finger is pointing, three is against you. What are you doing yourself? Senior citizens needs to be taken care of. I can only agree with you 100%. We need to take care of our citizens, senior citizens. It's because of them that we are here today. If they were not there, if they misbehaved, if they damaged this country, we could not be here today. Infrastructure, roads, water in Ongadi, how far is it? It's not the ministry to provide roads. The Ministry of Urban and Rural Development provides roads in an established local authority. Outside is the Ministry of Works. The Ministry of Urban can only coordinate, like now it is said, okay, in this place, in Ongandi, there is a need. Then my duty as a minister is to write to the Minister of Works to say, there is a need in that rural area. So the same thing, I have to write to the Minister of Agriculture to say there is a need for water there because agriculture is responsible for rural water supply. So it's just to coordinate, but not to function it myself. I cannot provide it, the minister cannot provide, we don't have a budget for that. But that does not stop us when an issue like this is raised, to raise it with the responsible and respective ministry. That we can do. Paying for water. I think this goes in with the first answer I gave. Street lights. The question of saying where do we get the money to pay for it does not rest with the ministry, does not rest with the government. In this country, there is what is called self-development. Even when manna was falling during the time of Moses, going with the children of Israel, there was a time when manna stopped. The children of Israel had to fend for themselves. So the time for 100% hand out is not going to repeat. It's not going to be there. Because the government does not have all this. But the government will provide the little that the government can provide on a shared basis. That will be done. I think, Honorable Speaker, those are the questions that I raised, I've heard, and I have responded. I hope I have responded to. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Now we are moving to the second round. Let's see the hands first so that we can capture you. While we are capturing, those that want to speak, can we have the hands? Honorable Bengela, you are next.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson, honorable members. I'm Rina Bengela from the Zambezi region. I rise to comment and request on the report given to us by the Honorable Minister. First of all, I would love to applaud him for the powerful report that he just shared with us. The Judalia Boroma consists of 19 areas. In my area, Lizauli, where I come from, being one of the areas forming Judalia Boroma, faces hardship when it comes to healthy facilities. We have one clinic and one healthy facility. One clinic in Sachona, one healthy facility in Sangwali, which is a 69 kilometers distance from Lizauli to Sangwali, and 29 kilos from Lizauli to Sachona. From Lizauli to Sangwali, one needs to travel a 69 kilometers journey in order to receive treatment, making it hard for the residents to receive service. Most residents in Lizauli area are unemployed. That makes it hard for them to travel far distances to require help. The Sachona road is a gravel road which gets damaged during rainy seasons. So I'm talking on a fact, something that happened
in my area, there was a pregnant woman who was in labor. And our network in Lizauli is of solar panels. So when the rain rains, we also experience network problems. The network was off. We had to call taxi drivers to come help us to transport the person. Upon reaching the road is damaged due to the heavy rain that was raining. And then the person passed on with the baby. And that was very sad. So all I'm suggesting from my honorable minister, I know it's not the ministry, it's not the right ministry, but he can take it up with us. We request for a mobile clinic for at least as we await for something big. That's if something big can happen. I so submit. Thank you.
Thank you, Bengela. And then Honorable Muhembo, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson, Honorable Member. I am glad to be Muhembo from Kavango East Region, Ndiona constituency. I raise to register my concern and also at the same time a request via our Minister of Urban and Rural Development. In Ndiona constituency, a road construction was started. I mean the gravel road. That's supposed to start from Ndiona, the Tin Junction. It's supposed to go via Jarajara, Kaudom, and link to Chikerete. The construction was started this year. Unfortunately, they only covered 4 kilometers. As I'm speaking right now, even the facilities, the bulldozer, the machineries was removed from the site. Now my request, while this road building fall under the Ministry of Works and Transport, indeed it lies within your ministry rural development mandate. With your permission, Honorable Minister, could you please engage your counterpart in Works and Transport to ensure that this road need to be taken into consideration? I so submit. I thank you.
Honorable Muhembo. Now next is Honorable Chizembisa. Honorable Chizembisa.
First of all, I'm Monica Kaunyandeva Shivembisa from the Great Kunene region. I rise to contribute on the discussion on the motion enhanced service delivery and good governance. But before I get into my concerns or contributions, allow me to thank the Honorable Minister for the powerful message this afternoon. My first point is we do not have proper town planning for a poor town. The only disaster that we go through is for people in the town to be moved from one side of the town to the next location without any compensation. And imagine some of these people are from a poor background. And they are taken from one location, dumped into another location, but there is no compensation for them to rebuild their structures. And the other issue is that in Opuo town, there are informal settlements that have been existed since before independence, and they have never been formalized. No water, no electricity, no basic sanitation facilities. People are still running into the small bushes when nature calls. Another issue, although it was mentioned by the previous speaker, the issue of settlement areas. We really need some new settlement areas for proper service delivery. Maybe it can be taken up by the regional council, but what will happen in the instance where the regional council does not show any signs of capacity to take care of this? Who will go after them? We have tried and we have failed as a community to talk to them. And the other issue is, when my colleague from Karas was talking on the issue of who to employ when a hostel will be constructed by government, I was scratching my head because we have similar concerns in Opuo, actually in Kunene region. We are being overpowered by people who are coming from other regions to come and make a living with us. But it seems they are overpowering us. When you look at the concerns here, even when a bid is displayed, there is an advert. If the regional council says for entities within Kunene, it becomes talk of the nation. But if you go to the next newspaper, then there is an advert, for example, in Oceana. It's written only for entities within Oceana. Nobody seems to talk about it. So I do not know whether it's because of the majority in the population or whether it's because they want to be more important than others. I have to be frank on this one. There was another issue in Okahau. There was a lady who was doing kapana there for almost 7-8 years, together with other ladies from Okahau, and there were open markets constructed. So she was now queuing up with their fellow women to collect keys for these stalls to start working from the stalls. When the Honorable Councillor saw this particular lady, he was asking, oh, so are you also here? You also want a stall in Okahau? Then she was excited. She thought it was on a positive note. Then she said, yeah, it's obvious. I've been here for more than 7 years. Then the councillor said, my dear, your land is in Opuo. We don't give land to people from other regions. So the lady said, am I dreaming? The next day she took her stuff and came back to Opuo. In Opuo, at the side where she is living, she had a small plot. In this plot, the neighbor was somebody from the north. They were sharing, they were neighbors. And they had an issue at the town council where this particular neighbor was claiming she took some part of the portion of his land. Now this lady was saying, no, something must be wrong here. How could I be expelled from Oka? How? I don't belong there. My land is in Opuo. When I come in Opuo, I'm sharing a land with the same person who ought to be in Oka. How? How is that possible? So the issue of tribal problems is not only in Karas, not only in wherever, it's everywhere. So when we deal with this issue, it should be on its own merit, not to generalize. I so submit.
Thank you, Honorable. Honorable Kariko, you are next. Okay, if in the absence of Honorable Kariko, we move on to Honorable Komba.
All right, thank you very much for the floor given. Honorable Chairperson, honorable members. Let me put my scenario like this. I stood to give my concerns in regards of the communal land. My name is Christine Komba from Rundu Rural Constituency in Kabango East Region. So my understanding, the communal land solely lies in the hands of the traditional authority and managed by the communal land board. So what's happening right now, my understanding is like in the communal land, people in the community resides in that land. Like you have a plot where you reside, you have your field where you harvest, you cultivate, and also a kraal if you own livestock and so. So what is happening now? The headman and headwoman in Kabango East, they are taking the law in their own hands, where they are distributing land to people who have got money. So those people who have got money, what they are doing, they take land, they fence in the communal land around about 2 kilo or 5 kilo in the communal land, meaning the whole land in the communal is fenced, leaving poor people in the rural area without land. They've got no space for cultivation. Their livestock that they own have got no land for grazing. So my appeal to Honorable Minister present here, if you consult the land board, the communal land board, as soon as possible before everything is finished in Kabango East region, and the poor people like us will be without land, and I don't know the little livestock that we have, whether we sell it or we slaughter it because it has got nowhere to graze. Because we only hear that the communal land board will come and remove the fences. Year after year, we just heard, but I've never seen them in my village. So the only problem where people are crying, they don't have land. Only people who have got money is owning land, and we lost now our land, we lost our livelihoods. People in the community, we used to go and collect firewood, we used to go and collect wild fruits, like, I don't know how they call it in English, maguni, makweo, chili, and all those things, but not anymore. If you enter someone's fence, you will be threatened, and they warn you that this must be the last time for you to enter this. The next time we will shoot or something like that. They are scaring the people in the village. And so I submit. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable. Honorable Shimanda, the floor is yours.
Honorable Chairperson, honorable members, I, Idimbwanjo Shumanda, from Oshkunde constituency of Wangwena region, I rise to contribute to the motion of enhancement, service delivery, and good governance. Honorable Minister, I would like to find out, you have spoken that water is a basic necessity. Without water, there's nothing a person can do. We have a project which was earmarked to distribute water in Ohangwena region and partly Oshkoto and Kavango West. This project was supposed to be at Omlondo village. It's a village in Oshkunde constituency where a survey was done. We have a lot of water underground. We call it Aquifer, Aquifer 2. And this project was launched by the former Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Karel Seltuen. Sorry if I cannot pronounce the name correctly. The former Agriculture Minister. That was 2002 in February. And it was supposed to be in completion in 42 months. As we speak, Honorable Minister, this project, it was not started. Nothing is going on there. And the fund was available through WKF, that was a Germany funds from Germany government. So I'm just asking myself here, if the Honorable Minister, perhaps, if you can take up this to the cabinet, because the community were gathering there during the launch of the project, and as we speak, this project is not, nothing is happening there. So with that, I so submit. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable. We have two honorables that needs to address their questions. We say it is 5, then we allow, but let's just allow the two honorables to address their questions, and thereafter we can allow the Honorable Minister to respond to the questions. It is now Honorable Kuvare. Honorable Kuvare.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson, Honorable members. I'm Evaldine Kuvare from Ochoronjiba region, Okakarara constituency. I arise to contribute on the motion, enhance service delivery and good governance. Enhance the service delivery. Good governance is the process of measuring how public instruction conduct public affairs and manage public resources and guarantee the realization of human rights in manner essentially free of abuse and corruption and with the due regards for the rule of law. What are the nature of challenges of a good governance and effective service delivery? Low level and awareness of the rights and duties of citizens. Corruption and failure to check corruption. Corruption Perception Index. In short, CPI. Lack of strong instructions of governance, effective implementation of law and rules. Let me give you some key attributes of good governance. As our minister has been emphasized on it, the very first one is transparency, responsibility, accountability, responsiveness to the need of the people. I so submit. Thank you.
Honorable Mr. Naris. Sorry, my apology. Honorable, is it Naris?
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable members, I have two things. The first one is what can we expect? What services are we expecting from the from coming up constituency? So the village council, we have a land for community development that we go through a donor. The person died halfway. We are requested, although we are paying the services every month, tax and rates we are paying, they now require us to get a land surveyor to divide the land. So what services can we expect from the village council? The other one is the police. When police are too long in that specific area, or when they are from that specific area, it makes me stupid. When people lay charges, then they will be taking sides. So my proposal is that, if possible, the police should be required to give efficient service to the community. I so submit.
Thank you, Honorable. Now it is time for our Honorable Minister to respond to the questions.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Let me start off by thanking all the speakers that have raised the questions here. Honorable Mbengela, the issue of Riaboloma Health Center, health facilities in the constituency. The good part of me is that I know Namibia. I've traversed all the corners of Namibia. Now, I can only say, yes, I appreciate the concern. I will raise it with the respective ministry. But all I can show and share with you for now is that health services, where there is a small population that cannot sustain a physically constructed clinic, renders mobile services. I'm not sure whether that is being done in the constituency or not, but I'll take it up with the relevant ministry. For your information, that's where my great-grandfather is buried, in your constituency. So I fully appreciate and know what you are talking about. Honorable Muhembo Kavango East, road construction in Ndiona. The road you are referring to from the Ndiona to Jarajara to Kaudum was started by me. It was planned by me. I might claim to say I went there and what I was told, if what I was told was correct, I might have been the first politician to have gone to that place since independence. The road from the main road to Katima to Shamaturu was started by me. The road from the main road from Grootfontein to Ndovu, passing the constituency office, was started by me. That's why I'm able to say, when we have little money, let's share with those that don't have before we can even start talking of third roads. Because others don't have. It's surprising that I was invited to say, Sankwasa, we are going to commission the construction of your road. Can you come? I was very happy. Now to hear that 4 kilometers only is a bit disturbing. but I'll take it up with the relevant ministry. That's all I can say. Tati Chitembisa, Monica Chitembisa, Kunene. Service delivery and the good governance, yes. Townland of poor. If people are moved without compensation, it's an error on the administration of the ministry, because this directly falls under my ministry. And I want to tell you today and assure you that if it's happening in Opua, it's not only happening in Opua. The Vundu residents have been moved, they were not compensated. Vokalo, they were moved, they've not been compensated. Not because the ministry has not compensated, but money was transferred from central government misuse on the ground by the respective local authority. That's why I talk with full authority, because I know the facts that are here. And in certain instances, have caused other people to be arrested. People that are moved, whether the money was taken by staff members and misused, they still have to be compensated. It is a must. They've surrendered their livelihood for town development. They must be compensated so that they are able to settle where they are relocated. However, it has been found that the rates for relocation, the cost for relocation, was determined some 10 years ago. And given what they call in finance future value of money, the value that is being paid now is less than what should have been paid 10 years ago. So we are in the process to revise the rates that must be paid, so that is commensurate with the current value of money. Settlement, yes, new settlement for poor. I still want to repeat what I said. Settlement is the responsibility of the regional council. And the regional council consists of regional councillors. These councillors come from those various constituencies. And I believe the settlement is in a given constituency with a given councillor. What is that honorable councillor doing about that settlement in his or her constituency? We talked about the issue of tribalism in the country. I completely agree with you. And when I'm giving these examples, it's because I want us to appreciate each other. When I was Deputy Minister of Works, 2017, the Youth Congress of SWAPO was held in Zambezi region, Katima Mlilo. A young man from Karas, who happened to know me because I was in the South, came to me and asked me a question that left me thinking. He said, Honorable Sankwasa, the Deputy Minister of Works and Transport. I say, yes. Can you answer my question? I say, please pose your question. If I answer, I will answer. If I don't, I will not. Why is it that since independence in Namibia, nobody from Zambezi, nobody from Karas, nobody from Kavango has ever won a contract, a tender even for 200,000? Why? So that question is still in my mind. And I say, if you look at your body, you are complete, your health, right? But if this small finger, this one, gets cut, gets injured, the whole body is injured. The whole body will get the pain. So it's not a question of majority. It's a question of us all treating each other equally. That's my position. If we don't, when the small finger gets cut, the whole body will be affected. And everybody will be sick. So let's learn to share the cake. I'm repeating this thing, I think, this afternoon 4 times. Let's learn to share the cake that is there. If we really need peace in the country, This advert, the way they advertise, as you say, yes, I've seen some of the adverts, especially for cleaning services, laborers. The Act, which is the Labor Act, the Constitution does not allow discrimination, whether directly or indirect. It's not allowed. Now, the moment you say this advert is only for people from this region, it's discrimination. And anybody who has got interest, even who did not apply for that post, can take you to court and you won't get it right. Because discrimination is not allowed. What is allowed is the Namibianization of Namibia, wherein we must live freely with each other. Now, the moment you also have a language of say, yeah, the other people from other people, they come to our place. That language itself is not addressing Namibianization. Because one can turn the question and say, if other people are coming from their place to your place, who is stopping you from moving to your place to their place? Why are we not cross-moving, cross-settling? Why are we so comfortable in the place where we were born? You see, why I understand Namibia better, I lived among the Shombo-speaking people. From a distance, you may think of Ambos are united, they're not united. Because when you sit among them, you hear saying, hey, Oshikwanya Meshi, hey, Oshindonga, among themselves. But they don't take that to the level where they must fight. It's just a daily thing, which you find that even kids of the same father, some will feel neglected, others will feel preferred. So I've lived among the Ovambos, I've lived among the Namas, I've been in Kavango. Kavango is west now that Kavango is Kavango East and West. West. I have been the leader of the chairperson of leaders assigned to Kavango from 2016 to 2020. Here is the first culprit sitting next to me here of tribalism in Kavango. You sit here, you think she's from Kavango, but Kavango will tell you she's a Nyamba. She's not accepted. When you are a Kwangali, you cannot be a coordinator in Rundu because Rundu is for Sambios. This is the situation we have in the country. That's why earlier on I said, the Boers came in and divided us. The way we want it now, if the Boers can come, they'll feel free to divide us that way. Let the Kwambis be on their own, let the whoever Mafre Masubia be on their own or whatever. They'll do that. But we fought as black people against that. We fought. We said, no, we want to be united. We want to be Namibians. But we come to Namibia, we are now in Namibia, we don't want to be in Namibia anymore. We want to go to the Mara and the Vambol and the whatever. How do we want to live in this country? How? You go to Maheke, you find a fight between the Kalahari and the Twana. They're fighting. I was with them 2 weeks ago in Ondangwa. So, unfortunately, it is us leaders who must rise above these things. Because the moment we are seen in the forefront, everybody, all of our followers say we are right. The moment it's practiced by a leader, all the followers believe the leader is right. It is taking this country nowhere. Nowhere but nowhere. Traditional authorities Honorable Komba. Yes, I'm aware of land that's being taken. Land grabbing that's going on in Kavango, that's going on in Kavango West. For one good reason. I don't know whether the land you're talking about is in Giriku, in Zambia. Because in Giriku, the Giriku have not had a chief from 2019. They don't have a chief. The Kwangari did not have a chief from 2014. And therefore there was no traditional authority. Anybody could grab land as much as he or she wants. There was no control. That's what happens when you're in dispute. When the two dogs are fighting for the bone, the third dog will get the bone and go. That's the situation we have. The Kwangari people complained to me the same way. I said, it's your own fault, it's your own making. Because from 2014 to now, we don't have a chief. Who do you think was going to protect your land? So, traditional authority have got the full responsibility in terms of the Traditional Authority Act of 2000 to protect communal land. They have the full responsibility, not in the communal land board, no. Communal land board acts on the instruction of a particular traditional authority and chief, not vice versa. The one who allocates land is the chief and the traditional authority through the Traditional Council. That's the only time the land board can act, not vice versa. If it's happening vice versa, please deal with it and report it correctly. Service delivery, Honorable Kubale. Oh yes. When we don't render service, what happens? Those that are from the communal area, particularly those that are involved in agriculture like me, when the rain comes in December, it's raining for everybody. The only one who will harvest is the one who wakes up in the morning to plow. Not the one who continues to sleep. And when the clouds are there, it brings good weather. I say, it's today I'm going to sleep nice, it's nice. You won't get any harvest. So service delivery for us as elected leaders is paramount by critically asking ourselves, what were we elected for? What did we promise the people? If you cannot have an answer to that question, you have failed the examination that is coming in November. Because every step in life is an examination. Kamanjab, land received through a donor. What service do we expect? What service is the police giving? The police service is supposed to be neutral. When they take sides, they bring what is called miscarriage of justice. And it's still our duty as leaders, if we notice that, to bring such things to their commanders. So attention. We need to report them. That this police service or this particular police officer is not operating. Because I did that myself. I took a phone, I phoned the Inspector General and said, this particular officer is damaging the image of the police. Police are supposed to be above board. Just like you and me who are politicians, we are politicians for every citizen in this country, not only for our respective tribe or language. We are for everybody in the country. I'm aware of the Kamanjab situation. Just this morning, we are still looking, I was having a meeting with the Minister of Finance, we are looking for funds because of the water situation in Kamaga. There is no water treatment plant in Kamaga. So I'm up to the pulse with the issue. There is a total breakdown of sewer system in Hemps Bay, in the Ronga region. Total sewer breakdown in Zambezi region, Katimam River. There is landslide being experienced in Rundi. I was all there. So I appreciate your comments, but all I say is that these comments and issues you brought here did not need for me to come to the National Council to come and listen to them. It was not necessary because you come from those constituencies. It was incumbent upon you to come to the office and say, Sankwasa, in my constituency, there is this problem. Not to wait for council for the speaker to invite me. Because now we are going towards the end, we will not get solutions. If we started in April when I started, maybe somehow, somewhere, would have made 2 or 3 steps. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Any further questions? Any further questions? Honorable Garises, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson and Honorable Members. I am Maria Garisis from Omaiga region. We have sustainable development goals. I think there are 17. Out of these, one is saying good health and well-being. Now in Khobabes, in Omaiga region, Khobabes is the town where all the Omaiga people are going for services. So we have a hospital in Khobabes. Now our question is, how many doctors do we have at Khobabes State Hospital? Because of if we go to Khobabes to see the doctor, you will not see him on time. And there are days which is divided in week. 2 days in a week for the forms to be filled in. It can be a police case form. It can be a social grant case of form. So indeed, these 2 days are in a week, Tuesday and Wednesday. Now, what about for us who are coming from the far, the outsiders who is not staying in Khobabes? When we arrive to Khobabes, and maybe it's Tuesday, and we sit in the queue for seeing doctor, and it's almost 5 o'clock. Then we have to go back and wait for Thursday again. And for you who is not having a family member in Khobabes, where can you start? It's whereby you see, when it's come to a gender-based violence cases or like a police cases, people went back with the forms. And when they are waiting the date, first day, maybe the scrap of the place that was being attacked be healed. And when they come to the doctor will sign in or fill in that form as a simple case. And when you come to the court, it's like it's a simple case. It's marked as well. Okay. So it's very difficult for us. That's why we wanted the government to help us. Okay, to maybe divide the doctors. There must be
Honorable Caresses, I'm so sorry that I have to cut you off. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Because the Honorable Minister, as I indicated, that we have to be brief into our questions. He has to go now for another responsibility. So let's keep our discussions, our debate, because we are still continuing. So then we can debate on it after the minister has left us.
Okay.
So I shall now use this opportunity to thank the Honorable Minister for his time and for making a presentation on the important topic. Thank you for your presentation, Minister. It is really well received by the Honorables. And I would like to ask all the members to give a big round of applause to the Honorable Minister. Thank you, Honorables. We can release now our Honorable Minister. We will soon start with our debate. So now the Secretary will read the fourth order of the day.
Debate on the motion, enhance service delivery and good governance.
Honorable members, any discussion on the motion? Discussion on the motion. There's Honorable Kachaka and then Honorable Komba. Honorable Kachaka.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson, honorable members. Mr. Bros Takachaka from Zambezi region, particularly in the Rinyati constituency. I rise this afternoon with honor and gratitude to give my contribution to the motion of enhanced service delivery and the good governance. Although it was This motion was supposed to be addressed while the minister was here. I don't know what went wrong. But we accept. I have, in Zambezi region, we have many challenges. The first challenges is regarding with our health services and hospital infrastructure. Since independence, we have staff shortages, clinics, and the state hospitals have understaffed. Before recent recruitment, many positions, nurses, doctors, specialists were empty. But as we speak, the current Minister of Health did respond. As we speak, some of the nurses are in the regions. We appreciate, at least in these 4-6 months while she's in office, she responded to the request of the region. Other thing, we have lack of specialists. Many cases, our patients are referred to Rundu, others are referred to Venduk. And I wonder why the other regions transfer from one region to the other region. That I don't understand. Because many resources are going. Because in other situations, you'll find that there's no valuable ambulance. The government may need to hire, meaning they will spend more on these referrals. And they imagine some of the referrals are surgeon. I find it easy maybe for the government to employ a specialist in the region. I think this is the best solution, other than referring, because in the referrals, we received a number of deaths. You know, the kilometers from Katima to Rund, Katima Malio to Vinduk, bringing a patient here. A person who was supposed to get help won't get it. The second thing, aging, the infrastructure, hospital, theater, maternity ward, social services, all our departments need urgent upgrades. Clinics in rural areas are disrepair. I'm happy because the thing that I'm talking, our right minister visited the hospital. He visited and she urged this hospital need to be upgraded, to be serviced. The other thing, vehicle transport limitations. Ambulances, fleet, and general transport vehicle are old. Many areas, especially floodplains, are difficult or impossible to reach in certain seasons. Hiring ambulances can be very expensive, like I said. Now we are towards the rainy seasons. Cars won't reach other areas of the regions. Procurement delayed, getting medical supplies, equipment, even small repairs is delayed by the process. This allows responses and maintenance. Number two, access and mobility. Roads, transport, flooding. Rural feeder roads are poor. Many communities have sandy tracks, which during rainy seasons become impassable. Some communities, e.g. Imukusi, are 15 kilometers from the main road, yet lack constructed access roads. Seasonal flood cut off facilities, some health clinics in floodplains, Kabes House, become inaccessible for 5 to 6 months. Number three, water and sanitation. While much progress has been made, many borehole pipe projects, there remain issues of water quality in some boreholes. Maintenance of water infrastructure remains a challenge. Number four, agriculture. Pest infestations and extensive services. Locust outbreaks and fall armyworm infections affect crops. Authorities are hampered by lack of emergency funds, poor vehicles, off-road capability, insufficient protective gear, and poor communication. Honorable members, Honorable Chairperson, honorable members, green schemes are making possible progress, repairing pivots, etc., but still face high electricity costs and other operational constraints. Number five, malaria and disease control. Zambezi records among the highest number of malaria cases in the country. Challenges in IRS, indoor residual spraying campaign. Many spray pumps are non-functional. Very bad few operators, lack of protective gear, insecticides, stock issues, coverage likely to be far below needed levels. Number 6, educational and community services. Some schools and clinics remain without full services or are delayed in their construction and staffing. Access to school is affected by road infrastructure in remote areas. Floodplains, children may need to walk long distances, possible made worse during bird seasons. Number 7, the last one, governance, budget planning. Limited funding is constantly cited as a constraint for infrastructure, roads, hospital upgrades, equipped and staff housing. In conclusion, some projects have delayed or stagnated, e.g. 24-hour clinic for Congola. I submit.
Thank you, Honorable Kachaka. Honorable Mkomba, the floor is yours.
Honorable Chairperson, honorable members, I, Christine Komba from Rondo Rural Constituency of the Kavango East Region, I rise to make a contribution on a motion, enhance service delivery and good governance for the 8th Rural Women Parliament with men as partners. Service delivery and good governance can only be enhanced through decentralization. Chapter 12 of the Namibian Constitution provides for the system of regional and local government. Service delivery and good governance can only be enhanced through decentralization. Local government in the country. Article 102, Sub-Article 1 specifically provides for the structure of regional and local government. There are a lot of benefits in decentralizing powers and resources to the regional council. It broadens democracy. It ensures a greater equity in attending to needy population. Therefore, decentralization enhances service delivery and good governance in several impactful ways, such as proximity to citizens. By transferring authority to local levels, governments can better understand and respond to the specific needs of communities, ensuring services are more relevant and accessible. Increased accountability. Local officials are more visible and accountable to their constituency, which can lead to improved transparency and reduced corruption. Flexibility and innovation. Decentralized system allows local administrators to tailor solutions and innovate based on local context, leading to more effective and adaptable service delivery. Decentralization promotes participatory governance by involving citizens in decision-making process, fostering a sense of ownership and trust in public institutions. Resource optimization. It enables better allocation and utilization of resources by enabling decision makers at the local level who have direct knowledge of community priorities. Overall, decentralization fosters a more responsive, transparent, and participatory governance system that can significantly improve the quality and efficiency of service delivery to citizens. Sadly, in Namibia, decentralization is just a song. As long as powers and resources are centralized in Windhoek, the people in the rural areas will continue to be marginalized. So, by implementing these strategies holistically, we can create an enabling environment where rural women feel valued, empowered, supported, and mentally healthy. So, I submit. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Komba. Just a few, it's not few, but an announcement. There are some of the honorables that may feel, because of the time, because we can see that it's almost, we are going to 5 o'clock, but we'll still give time for few to still give their point of views. But tomorrow, if you look at the program of tomorrow, there's still time for us to discuss on, even though it will be only highlights, on the main points that we have discussed. So there's still time for us to look at the issues, to look at the points that you could not mention today, tomorrow, before we will go to the resolution. There's still time tomorrow for us to debate, not debate, but highlight main points of our discussion, starting from Monday up to today. So if you will not be given an opportunity now to give your points, please don't feel offended. There's still time tomorrow for you to do so. Any further discussions? Yeah. Let's just capture the honorables we can raise. Honorable Limbala, he spoke already. So, Honorable Limbala. Now we move to Honorable Mulamba. Honorable Mulamba, you are next.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable members, I'm Aneli Mulamba from Omsati region, Onesi constituency. And I rise today to speak about enhancing service delivery and good governance in this 8th session of Rural Women Parliament with men as a partner. On behalf of the resilient people of our communities, Omsati is a region rich in tradition, unity, and potential. But like many rural constituencies, we face urgent challenges in service delivery and governance that cannot be ignored. In our communities, our people wait too long for clean water, and some places, people still rely on dirty water, salty from wells. Clinics are understaffed. Roads connecting remote villages remain in poor condition, and the youth lack access to essential services like ITC, agriculture, extension, and skill development. These are not luxury, they are basic rights. And where these services are delayed or denied, Honorable Chairperson, honorable members, good governance means more than policies on paper. It means action that is felt on ground. It means transparent resource allocation, regular public engagement at constituency level, and holding officials accountable when services are not delivered. We cannot continue to centralize power while rural communities are left behind. Decentralization must be more than a slogan. It must be implemented. Constituency officers must be strengthened, not sidelined. Local voices must be heard, not ignored. I therefore call for increased budgetary allocation for rural infrastructures in rural communities. Quarterly service delivery audits made public for community oversight. Digital platforms for residents to report service failures directly and transparently. Honorable Chairperson, honorable members, the people of Omsati marginalized communities are not asking for miracles, they are asking for essentials, accountability, and the respect that even Namibian deserves. Let this house be remembered, not for promises made, but for services delivered. Let us govern not for people, but with the people. I so submit. Thank you.
Honorable Shekunyenga, you are next.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable members, my name is Serafina Shekinyenge from Ohangwena constituency of Ohangwena region. I rise to make a contribution on the motion of enhanced service delivery and good governance of the 80th Rural Women Parliament with men as partners. We recognize that the spirit efforts rural communities in Hangwena region still face significant barriers to economic inclusion, including limited access to financial services, markets, healthcare, education and training, and basic infrastructure. We also note that good governance and effective services delivery are essential for sustainable development. We resolve to strengthen policies and programs that support rural economic development and to increase access to financial services, markets, and training for rural women and men, and to improve infrastructure, healthcare, and education in rural areas. Promote transparency, accountability, and citizen participation in governance. Honorable Chairperson, honorable members, by working together, we can break barriers, enhance service delivery, and create opportunities for rural women and men to thrive as partners in Namibia's development. I so submit.
Thank you, Honorable Shekunyenga. Honorable David, the floor is yours. If it,
We are requesting the government to conduct comprehensive assessment of the water crisis in Ngodi and develop a sustainable solution to ensure access to clean water. We also argue the authorities to invest in road infrastructures development to improve connectivity and accessibility in Ngodi constituency. Honorable Chairperson, honorable members, we call for improved network services and communication infrastructures to enhance connectivity and opportunities for our residents in Ngodi constituency. This community emphasize the need of urgent action and collective effort to address the water crisis, infrastructure challenges, and poor networking services in Ngodi constituency. So I submit. Thank you.
thank you, Honorable David. Honorable Munyango, you are next.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, honorable members. I rise to make a contribution to the motion, enhancing service delivery and good governance. I want to make a statement. Development and service delivery in the urban areas are growing at a very fast pace. Although in the rural areas, we are at times left behind. It is very essential for service delivery to be brought to the people. Before I go on, I want to say thank you to all the ministries. We see what they are doing. We acknowledge that they are doing their utmost best to bring services to the people, but we still have challenges. There are 3 areas that I want to address. Ministry of Education. Please look into it. We know that you said that education is free, but parents are still struggling with the aspect of buying uniforms and also buying stationery for their children. So if you could please look into the aspect of stationery so that the parents could at least concentrate on buying uniforms for their children. Because if you look at the conditions of the parents, you can see that they don't earn much. Some of them are unemployed. You know, most of them are living with the parents, with the grandparents. There's no income, other income. All right. Thank you very much. And then also with the erection of more classrooms, because some of the classes are overcrowded, and that also hampers the service delivery or the education of the children. Thank you very much on that one. The Ministry of Health, it was also addressed with the aspect of medication. Yes, there is a lack or shortage of medication in our hospitals or in the clinics. And then also with the aspect of transportation, because we have an issue with transportation. If doctors have to come out for doctor visits to the health centers, you know, there's an issue of transportation. Doctors cannot come to health centers because there's no transport. See, and that makes it difficult. And with the aspect of medication is that even when patients are taken to the urban areas to go and receive treatment, they still come back without any medication. Okay. So if they could please address that part. Ministry of Home Affairs, we would like to see the Ministry of Home Affairs come out to rural areas more frequently. And then also, if they would look to the pricing issue, they would revise that, because you pay a lot of money for national documents, really. If they would reverse that part and look into it also, we would appreciate that very much. I so submit. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Nyango. Honorable Ule, the floor is yours. Oh, all right. Thank you, Honorable. Any further questions? Discussions? I now put the questions that the motion be adopted. Any secondment? Any secondment? Thank you, Honorable. Any objection to the motion? Any objection? I see none. So it means agreed to. Honorable members, that was the order of the day. I shall now call upon the Chief Whip to adjourn the House.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson Honorable members, the meeting is adjourned until tomorrow, 9:30. Thank you.
Ish.